Hi guys, Brad Verma here with Compass Real Estate, and today we're going to be talking about what to look for when you're actually looking at a house that you think you would buy. The number one thing that people rely on when they're looking at a house is obviously they tour the house themselves, and then they look at the property reports and see what is wrong or what is right with the house. And I think one of the things that people may not necessarily focus on, and I want to make sure that you do focus on, is look at these top four things, and that'll help you figure out if this house is right for you. So number one thing to look for is circulation. A lot of the times when you walk in the house, you may feel that the house is an open floor plan or has a lot of different rooms, and there are different styles of houses, right? You need to see what is going to fit with your lifestyle and how the circulation of the house is, because that's something that's very hard to change. You can change the paint, you can change the floors and all that stuff, but the circulation of the house, how does it feel when you're walking in and out of the house, when you're going from the living room to the family to the dining, from the kitchen? How does it feel? Do you feel a little bit awkward? Does it kind of restrict you? Do you feel the spaces are well proportioned, well planned? Those are things that we get so carried away with just pretty pictures online that we forget sometimes to look at those things. So just keep in mind that the circulation is really important, and you want to have a circulation where you have really clear, unobstructed paths to the high traffic areas. And what I mean by that is, especially if you're going to the kitchen from the outside, you want to have a clear path where you don't have to make a lot of turns to get to where you need to be. And I have a little bit of background. I studied architecture and I did my master's in real estate. So when I look at houses, I don't just look at it from the real estate perspective and what the price is and what it's going to sell for later on and all that stuff. Obviously I want to get the best investment for my buyers, but I also look from the perspective of, is it going to be comfortable for my clients? Is it aesthetically, beyond just the finishes, is it going to really be a great house for them to live in, with the family, with the kids? So I always keep that in mind. And so just keep that in mind. The circulation is really important. And if you want more details about that, I can definitely help you provide that. So second thing to keep in mind is natural light. And this is a really big one. And people miss out on this one quite a bit, because in today's environment, most of the houses that you go to, they will have a lot of lights already turned on. So it's hard to know how much natural light is already there in the house. So my advice, and this is a little trick that I do, is I go in the house, and obviously I want to see the house with all the lights turned on, but I also want to see the house if the lights are turned off. How much natural light is actually coming in to the different rooms. And why is that important? So, our brains, it's weird, but it's actually, it's a proven fact that, we release certain chemicals based on the amount of light that we take in through our eyes. So our levels of serotonin and different chemicals is dependent on the light that comes in. So you will feel a little bit depressed or a little bit gloomy if you are in a dark room all day long, or if there's no natural light. The light that we get from the LEDs and the tube lights and all that stuff is great, but it's not a really great substitute for natural light. So keep that in mind, that you want to have a house that has a lot of natural light in the living room, in the kitchen, even in the study areas. And bedroom's not so important, but I still like to, wake up to a bright room, right? Rather than just being dark all the time. So that's number two. So first one was circulation, second one was light, and the third one is really important, is sound. And yes, everybody likes to have quiet homes, And I don't think that there's anything wrong with being in the city environment where you do hear noise coming from outside. A lot of the times we have houses on close to busy streets, even close to train tracks and stuff like that, and that's fine. The only thing to consider is when you're sleeping. You want to make sure that your house where you're sleeping, the sleeping chambers, your bedroom, is really quiet. And why is that important? Studies have shown that if you have if you do have disturbance in the night, your sleep quality decreases quite a bit. And you may not notice it, but in the long term, it's going to affect your moods, your sleep cycles. If you don't get the deep REMs, it's going to really not give you the optimum health that you want, right? So you want to make sure that your bedrooms have really good either sound insulation and everything that you require, or just naturally they don't have that much sound coming in if you leave the windows open either. So that's something to really to consider. Fourth one is talking about the colors and the spaces themselves. And this is a little bit going into Vastu and Feng Shui. I have studied both Vastu and Feng Shui deeply, and I advise all my clients about what is really beneficial for them depending on their family and the lifestyle they have. And it's the placement of certain things, the kitchen, the bedrooms, where are they placed, and also the outside, where is the swimming pool, where is the master bedroom, where is the study. And maybe it doesn't play that much into a lot of people's lives, but I do see that when they are placed in the right place, the different areas where you're working, where you're sleeping, if they are placed in the right quadrants, or if they have the right amount of space in them, then it definitely affects the quality of your life. And I speak that from experience. I always look for houses that have certain entrance directions, and I just feel like naturally they allow for much better energy levels. When I talk about energy levels, I'm talking about good vibrations and good energies, not necessarily the energy of the electricity. So I want to make sure that my buyers, when they buy houses that have really good vibrations, good energy levels, that they will be living in that house for so long and raising their family with kids. So I want to make sure that it's something that they really enjoy for a long time. So that was the top 4 things to keep in mind when you're looking at the actual physical property. If you have any questions, feel free to call me or send me an email. Would love to help you. Cheers.